Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game, and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
Right now, my name's Dre Baldwin. For those who don't know me, many know me as Dre All Day, and the best way to describe what I do is I'm a salesperson. All I'm doing all day is selling. My background is selling myself as a professional basketball player. Now I sell books, I sell entrepreneurship ideas, tips, and advice. I sell confidence, belief, goal setting, and ambition. I sell content marketing ideas. I sell social media coaching. I sell confidence and belief coaching and consultations. I sell books. I sell people's attention to watch my YouTube videos. I got 4,000. I sell your attention to read the 4,000 blog posts on my website and to watch all these streams that I do every single day. So if somebody asks you what does Dre Baldwin do, just say he's a salesperson. That's what I do all day, every day. I'm selling. But anyway, today what we're talking about is 3 ways to get the most out of the information that you learn in life. So here's the number 1 way to get the most out of information that you get. Number 1, when you learn some new information, ladies and gentlemen, apply it immediately. And that might seem like a very simple idea, but how many times have you gotten some new information, wrote it down, said it sounds great, liked it on Facebook right now? Are we good on the connection? Can anybody who's watching let me know if the connection is straight? For whatever reason, Periscope was kind of janky yesterday. I want to make sure it's working properly today, or at least yesterday morning. What's up, Sarah, who just checked in? Are we good on the connection? Can somebody let me know if we good on the connection or not before I continue? What's up, yo, do the right thing. We good? All right. So number 1, when you get new information, ladies and gentlemen, immediately apply the information. When you learn something new, learn how to apply it. And I'll give you an example from my own life. When I was in college, one of my teammates, he knew more about playing basketball professionally than I did because we both wanted to go play overseas after college. So he said, well, look, here's one of the things that I found out, Dre, is that if you want to play overseas, when you contact teams, one of the first things you got to do, you got to have like some kind of bio, like a resume. Same way you got a resume to get a job in the quote-unquote regular world, you got to have a resume to get a job in the basketball world because it's still a job. So he was like, we need to go and put together a resume for ourselves. I said, all right, well, I know what a resume is, and this is going to relate to step number 2. I said, I know what a resume is, so why don't we go to the basketball court and take some pictures of each other, and we'll use those to start putting our resume together. Because he knew about that part. I didn't know that, but I did know something about putting together a resume, so I was like, all right, we can put together a resume. Let's go apply this information immediately. And we went and did that. And eventually that helped us both get our careers going. And that relates to number 2. So number 1 is immediately apply information that you get. Don't just write it down. Don't just say that it's good. Don't just tap the screen on it or like it or double tap it on Instagram. Immediately apply information that you get. That's the way that it sticks into your mind. Your mind remembers things that it does. It does not remember everything that it hears. And all of you know this. We know studies show that human beings retain like 7% of the information that they hear every single day. So just because you heard something that sounds great doesn't mean that you're going to actually use it. And you wouldn't believe how many people I speak to every day. They ask me for advice or tips or information on doing something business-wise or basketball-wise. I tell them something, and then they reply like, hey, I heard that before. I thought about that before. Oh, yeah, I read about that before. Oh, yeah, I heard somebody say that before. I've been thinking about doing that. Yeah, I know you've been thinking about it and you heard it and you read it, but have you applied it? If you don't apply something, then number 1, you're not going to get anything out of it. Just because you know information means nothing. How many people do you know these days who know a lot of information but do absolutely nothing with the information? So knowing something doesn't matter. It's what you actually do with it. And number 2, most of the things that we hear, we don't even remember. So you have to apply it if you want to actually get some use out of it. So that's the number 1 tip, is that you must apply everything that you immediately hear. Are we good on the connection? Can somebody please give me a steady tap of the screen before I move on to number 2? I want to make sure that our connection is good before I move on to the second point of what we're talking about here, which is how to get the most out of all information that comes your way in life. All right, thank you for tapping the screen. Number 2 thing, and keep tapping it, please. Number 2 thing you're going to do when you get new information in life. Here's number 2. You're going to immediately relate it to something that you already know. And I'll go right back to my same example. When one of my college teammates was like, Dre, look, we need to put together a bio if we're going to play ball overseas, because we got to have something to show these teams when we contact them. I said, okay, well, I don't know about making a bio for a basketball player. I never did that before, but I do know how to make a bio or a resume just as a regular person. Like if I want to get a job at, Pizza Hut or McDonald's, I know how to make a resume. So I related him saying make a bio. I was like, all right, well, I know what a bio is. So we're going to write down, we're going to put our name, put our contact information, our phone number, our email, a picture of ourselves playing ball. And then we're going to write down all the places we played, and we're going to talk it up. Basically, take everything that we did, the factual information, but we're going to talk it up to make it look good, like shine ourselves up. And that's how we put together our resume. So he knew the basketball side, I knew the resume / get a job side. So I was able to apply the new information that I had to something that I already knew, and then I was able to make something new and productive out of it. And that's going to lead to number 3. So the number 2 thing, ladies and gentlemen, is you must take what you already know and relate it to new information that you get. That's the way that your brain remembers things. Because if you give your brain a completely new concept and it has no idea what you're talking about, it might not be able to use it because it has no way to apply it and say, okay, this makes sense because this and this. That's the reason why people who speak, or people who write books, or people who do anything where they're talking to an audience through any medium, we like to use stories. We know that stories work very well. Even in sales, stories work well. Why? Because everybody can relate to a story. Not everybody can relate to information. Does that make sense? That's the reason why I'm using these examples from my life, so y'all can relate a little bit better to the story, even though you might not completely understand the information, even though I know y'all understand the information, but a story makes it stick a lot easier, because it's easier to remember a story than it is to remember a list of facts. So that's number 2, is that you want to relate what you learn to something that you already know. Here's the number 3 thing. Number 3 tip that will get you to get maximum use. And are we good on the connection again? Again, it got quiet. Can I see some hearts coming in here before I continue? I don't want to waste this information with nobody being able to hear me or see me. Number 3 tip. Thank you for the hearts. Number 3 tip for how to get the most out of any information that you get in life. Here it is. Come up with 5 ideas based on your current situation. Come up with 5 ideas for how you could possibly use this information. 5 ideas for how you could use new information that you receive. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean, and I'm going to make sure I throw in this disclaimer, doesn't necessarily mean that you do any of the ideas. You don't even have to do the ideas. But the exercise of coming up with 5 ideas for how you could possibly use new information, the reason that's valuable is because now you're putting your mind to work using new information. See, when you make your mind work using something new, now it's going to stick a little bit more. When you use your mind to relate it to something that you already know, it sticks a little bit more. So once you get your mind to work with something new that you're giving it, instead of it just being some information that was thrown to you, might stick against the wall, might fall on the floor, once you come up with those ideas, now you're like, okay, now I see a way I can do this. I see a way I can do this. And if you come up with 5 ideas, guess what? Maybe one of them might be something that you can actually do. Maybe one of them will be something that you can actually use and you actually get something useful out of it. So that's the reason why you want to come up with those 5 ideas. So just to recap, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up this morning, 3 ways to get the most out of any new information that you get. Number 1 is go use the information. Apply the information ASAP in your real life. Apply the information somehow, some way in your real life. Number 2, relate new information that you get to something that you already know, because that makes it easier for your mind to pick up on it and understand it. Number 3 way to get the most out of new information that you get, come up with 5 ideas for how you could possibly use this information. Maybe one of those ideas would be good, but just get in the habit of coming up with 5 new ideas. Your brain is going to start to become a machine for producing ideas. And I'm actually putting out a book about producing ideas, or actually the result of the habit of idea production. I'm going to put that out. I'm probably not even going to charge for it. That's going to come out probably within the next month. We're just doing a read through and the edit phase of that book right now. That will be out very soon. For those of you who don't know me, again, to recap, my name is Dre All Day. Come from Philadelphia, live in South Florida. I'm a salesperson. I sell books, I sell entrepreneurial ideas, I sell coaching and consulting, I sell blog posts, I sell YouTube videos, Periscope streams, professional speaking, professional athletics. And my aim right here in all this is that I want to empower as many people as possible over the next 50 years. Empower as many people as possible with knowledge, skills, expertise, information, and experience. And you're going to get experience from actually doing things. And my aim is, when I put this stuff out, all out to you too. Good morning. Buenos dias. My aim when I put this stuff out is to empower people and move you to actually take some action. Not just to say this is good information, not to say, hey, Dre knows this stuff, not to say, hey, this was funny, not to say this was informational or this was educational or entertaining, but for you to actually take it and go do something with it. And then a year from now, you come back to me and like, yo, Dre, you know, that one scope that you did that one day, I took that information and used it, and it helped me become successful in fill in the blank, whatever it is that you're doing. And my message is universal to anyone. Even if you never picked up a basketball in your life, I can share with you principles from what I learned as a basketball player, and you'll be able to use it in your business. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, let's say you work at McDonald's and you go to school and you want to be a scientist, the things that I'm going to share with you that I've learned as being an entrepreneur are going to be able to help you relate better to doing your quote-unquote regular job, being a scientist, going to school, being successful in your relationships, in your business, in your life, and most importantly, in your mental game. Because if your mental game is not on point, I don't care what kind of skills, resources, tools, and knowledge you have, nothing's going to work for you. And the most important thing is to get that mental game on point, and that's what I'm an expert at. When we talk about confidence, we talk about belief, success, goal setting, your ambitions, and all of that stuff. That's what I'm an expert at, and that's why I call myself the empowerment expert. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to read my first book, it's called Buy a Game. I will give it to you for free, free 99. Go to DreAllDay.com. And when you get to the site, a pop-up's going to come up that says, get my first book, buy a game for free. Like I just said, put in your email address. I'm going to send you that book by the end of the day. Right to your email. You can read that straight on your email. I guarantee you're going to love that book. And if you're charitable in nature, you can leave me a review on Amazon.com. It costs you no money, just a few minutes of your time. Work on your game. My name is Dre All Day. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Make sure you get my first book, Buy a Game. It is free. Click the link right here below in the video description. I'm on all your favorite social media platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. All the links are right down here below. It's either Dre Baldwin or Dre All Day on each one of those sites. And make sure you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button down there and the thumbs up like button. Subscribe so you catch all the new content. Work on your game. Dre All Day.